John Mayer's Instrumental of Human Nature uses a really clean strat tone. I'm using the neck pickup position, rolling a bit back on the treble for a warmer sound. Be aware that traditional strat wiring is such that the middle tone button is only controlling the first two pickups, not the other ones. So be aware. Actually, when you do this, a little wah thing happening. All right. So back off by about 3. That gives us a nice warm tone to do what we got to do. And we're ready to go. The song's breaking into 4 parts. We have the thumb and fingers clean bit. We have an overdriven sound with the fingers, which is kind of single line stuff down at the end of the nut. And then we have the same sound but up higher, an octave. Then we have the solo at the end. That kind of stuff. We'll go through each of those parts in turn. First 2 bars. It's really slow. I want to draw your attention to that bit here in the second measure. We're actually doing a slap and a flick. We're flicking that note and we're slapping on the 6th string. So a lot of people ask how you do a slap and a flick at the same time. Basically you hit it with you practice hitting your first finger against the string you want and your thumb at the same time. And you go into the pull off. Measures 3 to 4. Notice the slapping on beats 2 and 4 becoming very prevalent now in the tune. Don't forget the slaps, they make the tune. Measures 5 and 6. Taking a look at that little lick. Slow down, 50% sounds like this from the original recording. So really slow, it's... Oops. Measures 7 and 8. That last one with the lick ends actually with an open 6th string. And that leads into this next part. I'm just going to chuck it on here. So... Measures 9 and 10 is where things get interesting. Coming off that last low G note in the last measure, we follow up with... So that's and then we go to the chorus. I'll just do it again really slow. A couple notes about these. Basically, the first time he plays it, he plays this bit like he was continuing the same 2-note chords diatonically down the neck. Later on, he does a more bluesy kind of thing, but the first time he actually does this. Now, this the notes sounding on the 3rd string here aren't really, they're very lightly kind of held. They're just kind of incidentals. So you can play it any way you want. You can play it like... personally, I think it sounds better that bluesy way. So from the top again, drawing attention also to these little... They're actually slid out of all the time, like... Makes it really hard to play and throw in the slaps and then the bass note here on the 7th fret. It actually makes them late in executing on the recording, and it kind of sounds cool, but I think it's because he's trying for those slides, so really slow. And one more time. So be sure to get that slap and that bass note. Slap, bass. And I've already talked to you about this part. Measures 11 and 12. Measures 13 and 14. So again, this is the second variation on that ending. And again, it ends on this open 6th string. So for that first part, we're leaving out that the G, C in the first part. We're leaving out that fretted A note on the 6th string. Measures 15 and 16. So you notice that both of these measures end off on chords that are tied into the next measure. So measure 15 ends with this, and then starts with it already ringing, and then same thing for the next one. Measure 16 ends with this, and that'll get tied into the next measure 17. We say about this part. So we kind of snatch that bottom chord, 3 fingers. Hit the bass note, and then this little pull-off thing. Open, except for the 4th fret on the 4th string, and then that next chord will be discussed in the next measure. Pay attention to the bass lines as well. Measure 17 is coming out of this with this chord ringing. So doing there is we got the chord ringing, thumb here on the 5th fret of the 6th string, we hit the 5th fret of the 4th string, and then with our pinky we fret the 6th fret of the 3rd string, and we pluck those that together with the 6th string, 3rd string and 6th string together, and then with that ringing we just kind of pluck the 2nd string fretted with the 3rd fret. So altogether it's... With the band playing, we've switched to our overdriven sound, and measures 18 to 21 are simply measures 22 and 23. Basically, we pick once on the 4th fret of the 3rd string and one-handed, kind of shake it all over the place. And then this nice little slide, ending on the 5th fret of the 5th string with the pinky. Measures 24 and 25. So we have this nice quick and then some kind of sliding from the 6th to the 4th. Pull off to the 2nd, then release on the 4th. Little hammer on to end it off. Measures 26 and 27. So basically we have this on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. One of those nice little hammer-on pull-off licks he has. Measures 28-29. Pretty simple. After you pick this 5th fret of the 2nd string, it's all kind of one-handed. Measures 30 and 31. Simple enough. This part's different. We're doing kind of a two-string hammer-on. And unlike the first lick, which ended like, we're not completing it, we're just going. So all together. Measures 32 and 33. So this thing again. Incidentally, on the track, you might hear that lick at the end go like, but it's actually the other guitars doing this. But you can do it as well. Measures 34 and 35. Again, we've heard this before. Only difference being this is two hammer-ons instead of a hammer-on slide like before. Slide. It's hammer-on. Hammer-on. Other than that, there's no real difference. Bars 36 to 38. That's a lot of sliding on one string. So from the 5th fret, 7, 10, 3. We wait a bit and we do this little hammer on. And then right in measure 30, we come in with the hammer on the 4th fret. Slide up and then down. Measures 39 to 41. Descending melody. That last bit, he's just basically playing along with the keyboard part. Measures 42 and 43. Bit of a departure from the low end stuff, single line. He actually does a strummy 2-note chord thing. And translation of this lick here. So he's actually coming in late up here, because he's doing all this. He's late, so he kind of swings it a bit. So the first melody we played, like, now we play, he's rushed because he's late coming up from this low end stuff. So that's the major difference there. So from the top really slow. 44 and 45. So, pretty basic. Important part is the timing of this note that's going to start the kind of high-end octave soloing that's coming up. Bars 46 and 47. So slow, this note is again coming off the last measure. Measures 48 and 49. Measures 50 and 51. So nice bending here. I use my pinky on the 12th fret of the first string and my third finger on the 12th fret of the second to do that part. And this thing, it's kind of a slide from 11 to 9 and then a pull off from 9 to 7. And that very last part of the lick is very subdued. You hardly hear it on the track. You can emit it and it won't sound bad. So from the top. Measures 52 and 53. Measure 54 and 55. 54 is a continuation of the 10th fret second string note that's ringing. We're actually going to start with a hammer on and then go into the lick. So coming from that last part, oops. Really nice spanky lick there. Measures 56 and 57. Bars 58 and 59. This one's neat. This is like a full step and a half. So again, it's from the top. Measures 60 to 63. Is that 3? Basically plays that same lick 3 times, little variations. So it starts off with this and then the same lick again, but with 2 ticks of the 10th fret first string. And then one more time. That last third lick, there's a weird overtone that the singer's doing, and it sounds like he's going. So you can do that too if you want. Measure 64 to 71. Actually, the starting of measure 64 is coming off of measure 63. So, coming off of measure 63, we have this 10th fret as long as you can. More of those 15 to 10 slides. On the second 15 to 10 slide, we kind of leave our finger on the 10th fret, second string, and then we do this, which is just bending up on the 10th fret. Just a full step and a half, I think. And then sliding up to 12, back to 10, pulling off to 8, hammering on to 10, and we hang on to that note for a little while, and at this point he walks over to the amp and he gets a pick. So that's next. We're in the stretch. Bars 72 and 73. Now we're into the distorted tone. So you need a pick. Where's my pick? Here it is on my amp. I thought it was funny on TV when he did that. So the first lick goes like this. And all that is I kind of try to use my third finger for the bend, and my second finger for the next one, and then my third finger for the one after that. It involves a rake off the start, and actually the G string sounds on the recording. Here's a snippet of the original recording with that G string ringing. It's messy but wonderful. And then the next lick right after that, measure 73, is so just kind of bar the 15th fret, first and second strings, and then bend that 15th fret, first string up, release and bend up again. So from the top, those two. Bars 74 and 75. So from the top. Measure 76 with a bit of lead in from measure 75 that I didn't show. Measure 75 ends off with these two notes at the 15th fret of the second string. And the lick goes like this. So start off in the typical, G high pentatonic area. So your first finger is kind of anchoring here at the 15th fret, and we have this bend. Then we kind of pull everything down, switch positions, and the next part of the lick is, and that's it. Together slowly. Measures 77 and 78 are the same lick, just played in succession. Not much to that one. Bar 79. So, pinky and third finger, 17th fret, first and second strings. We're going to do a double bend. Final bar is 88-84. Features some repeating licks of this nature. The song ends off like that. So that lick is basically, again, we're bending the 18th fret up. We have our first finger anchored on the 15th fret of the second string. Big push, and then that haunting last bit, 15th fret bend. 13th fret on the first string. And just the 15th fret of the second string, let it die, and you're done. This is by far the most involved tab I've done. I'm glad it's over, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I think a lot of you are just going to learn the first finger picking bit because it lends itself to more solo performances, but Why do anything half-assed? Gotta put it all in there. Catch you guys later. Here's a quick 5-minute video that shows my take on the whole tabbing thing. So my approach is to use video. If it's available, I'm going to look at it because it's got everything you need. We can see the right-hand, left-hand interaction. We can see he's using the neck pickup, see what his thumb is doing, see what he's doing with his fret hand. And this usually happens. The producer will go to a back camera shot and screw up your good view. So when we have this kind of thing, this is great. We can see his thumb, we can see exactly how he's forming the chord. You can actually use this to give very accurate fretting and picking instructions. But to get at that bit of audio that we didn't see, we go to the meat and potatoes of the transcribing business, and that is audio, just pure audio. So this is a program called Transcribe. It allows me to loop sections of the song and actually slow it down but maintain the pitch. So you really hear what's going on. Here we hear the mayor slap with his thumb, offbeat crowd clapping. And then that lick in question. And I listen to that till I can kind of hum it and I get it in my head, and then I sometimes pick up my guitar and practice it to make sure the fingering's right and it works. A lot of times I won't pick up my guitar at all because the program Guitar Pro, where everything ends up, is so good you can sometimes get away with just using that. If you set it to like audio, it'll audibly play the note that you type in. So here's that section that we were talking about where they went to the back camera and we didn't see his fingers, and this is what I've got for that. So it's pretty involved. So to check it, what I usually do is I'll set it to half speed here. I'll flip back into Transcribe and I'll play that loop. And then I'm going to try to superimpose the two on top of each other. I was a bit off there with the timing. Let's try that again, and I'll take the volume down a bit so it matches. Right on. So when it sounds that close, I become happy with that. I save the file and I move on to the next section. So pretty much the whole piece is transcribed like that in this manner, paying special attention to the crazy John Mayer isms. He utilizes a lot of what we call grace notes in this piece, where a lot of stuff is done before the beat or on the beat, a lot of fast little slides. It's got a great bend and release kind of engine where you can really play around with where they end up. There's a lot of things where you'll see, okay, they're kind of like, he'll actually pick the note here, but all these notes are the bends still playing through on their own. If you get what I mean, he's picked it once, then he's with his finger actually completing the rest of the note changes. One thing I'll also add is this was the first time I did a multi-voice piece in Guitar Pro. And what that means is on number 1 here I've got the higher notes playing the melody, and on voice 2 I've got the bass notes. And when you put them together, they play together. What this gives us in the end is we can have these bass notes having different time values than their compatriots up top if they're in the same column. The normal way people tab usually is they throw the bass notes on the same voicing, and so your bass notes can only ring as long as the note in the same column above it. And in this piece, there's bass notes that ring out for much longer durations when their two notes are played at the same time. Yeah, okay, here's one here. So this bass note is going to ring out for that note value, but the treble one with the little hammer on is moving much faster. So that's a nice, accurate way to do it. And in utilizing this program, you can kind of see at a glance, here we'll just contend with the first voice, when you see 4x4, all your note values are cool. If you've got something out of whack, it quickly tells you, well, you know what, you got too many note values, the math isn't right. Put it back, there we go. So that lets you kind of loop these sections until you know you've got it perfect. Another thing that I'm particularly anal about with the Mayer stuff
is the slaps that occur on beats 2 and 4. And I notate these with little X's. So you'll hear them. Slap. Actually, here I've got the metronome. I've always play with a metronome to help situate me. Let me just turn that off. So you hear that thump. That's my slap sound. These are pretty much in every Mayer song, and they repeat in this piece on beats 2 and 4 throughout, except when he does something fancy like this little trill thing. You won't hear it there. They are one of the fundamental important things in the Mayer kind of bag of tricks, and a lot of people don't play them, and a lot of people don't notate them when they actually try and tab this stuff. Now, one thing I usually do is when I'm learning any song is I go out and I look for tabs of it, and then I see really crappy ones like this, and there's no slaps. That is totally wrong. That's in the wrong position. The solo is interesting. And it's, oh wow, it's very short. My tab's like, I don't know how many pages mine is, freaking 8 or 10. But this is the whole thing apparently. And then there's awesome comments like, yes, he holds to a traditional classical guitar style and finger picking, where blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. My classical guitar teacher would hit my thumb with a ruler if it encroached over the fretboard, so I don't know what that guy's talking about. It's very nice that they take the time to do this, but the fact that it's totally wrong irks me, and I gotta do these to feel better. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. That's my tab rant for this edition. And keep checking the channel. There's new tabs popping up all the time.